evening, Rotarians, guests, interactors, and fellow athletes. It's great to be back here at the International Cabaret Lounge and Grill at the Westlands Resort in Dunblane. It's great to see so many familiar faces from last year. Disappointed to see so many worried faces because you're maybe a bit concerned as to what you've let yourselves in for, but worry not, because if it's nearly Christmas, if it's nearly the finals of Strictly Come Dancing, if it's nearly the finals of I'm a Celebrity, and if it's nearly the finals of X Factor, what does that mean? It means that we're here for this evening's entertainment. Once again, no expense has been spared. We've drawn artistes from all four corners of the club. Indeed, one of them even volunteered. If you thought It Ain't Half Hot Mum was funny, then the standard we have to reach is even lower than we thought, and I can assure you that we're going to strive to come close to that. My name is Alistair Mackey, and after last year's MCing, I received several requests. Despite that, here I am again, and once again, I am your ringmaster for the evening. Are you ready to be entertained?
Yes!
No, that's far too subdued. Are you ready to be entertained?
Yes!
Are you ready to laugh?
Yes!
Are you ready to cry?
Yes!
Are you ready to sing?
No. Yes!
Are you ready to cry again? We do have a great night's entertainment lined up for you this evening, so I hope you're going to enjoy yourself. Even in front of friends, it's not easy to stand up and perform in front of a room like this. So here are the rules. You smile all the time. It's compulsory. Smiling is compulsory. No heckling, no booing. Joining in is compulsory. Even if you know half a song, join in with the half a song. It's compulsory. Did I mention that? No throwing food at the performers, and definitely no throwing money. Unless Neil Lennon appears at the back, in which case, feel free just to let rip. Sorry, complicated there. So, like we did last year, we're going to start off with a practice. And we're going to start off with a practice of applause. So, let's hear you applaud. Yeah, that's what I thought it would sound like. That's just not good enough. What we want to hear you do is when you applaud the artists, what you have to do is this. No. So let's give that another go then. 1, 2, 3. Well done. First up this evening is that Welsh wizard, Rod Jones. Rod is described in my production notes, and this is true, he's described in my production notes as a short stand-up. It is. That's what it says. Now, I think that's a bit unfair. I mean, it's entirely true, obviously, but it's unfair. But what Rod lacks in height, he makes up for in other ways. So says Mrs. Jones. Rod, the floor is yours.
Great. Thanks, Alistair. So, tonight, it was a secret until yesterday that I was doing anything. But Paddy rang me last night about 11:15 and she said, can you say a few tricks and jokes tomorrow? So I said, yes. I said, how long do you want? She said, oh, whatever you like. So I came in, I've been practicing all night, and I came in and I said, how much do you want, Paddy? Oh, 2 or 3 minutes will do. So here we go. I've got a little bit more than that. What I'm going to do is tell you a couple of stories, then we're going to do a wee trick. If you're good at the tricks, I might do another one, and then I'll tell you a few more stories. And remember, laughing and clapping is compulsory. So, to start with a wee Bible quote from Genesis. And God promised men that good and obedient wives would be found at all corners of the earth. So then he went on and he made the world round. And he laughed and he laughed and he laughed. So this afternoon, Simon from Dunblane, he's a senior citizen, you may have seen him bouncing around. He was driving down the M9 towards Stirling when the phone rang. So he's got hands-free in the car, she presses the hands-free, and his wife on the phone, and she's going, Simon, I just heard the news that there's a car going down the M9 the wrong way. Please take care. Hell, it's not just the one car, there's hundreds of them. Now, I was going to put in there, I've got Alexa, help me. Now, I've got a couple of things I'd put into Alexa to amaze you with. Unfortunately, Alexa hasn't got a bloody signal, so we'll just do without her. Just one of those women. So, the first little trick we're going to do, now, I don't want you to say a lot during this, I want you to just think and do. So we're going to think of one number between 2 and 9, right? Think of that number, and then yourselves, in your head, without help, I want you to multiply that number by 9. First number, think of a number between 2 and 9, and then multiply that number by 9. The answer will be 2-digit number, and I want you to add those 2 digits up. Okay? And you'll get another number. From that number, take away 5. Okay? Take away 5. I know it's getting difficult. Now, here comes a tricky bit. That number that you've got in your head now, I want you to assign a letter to it. Where A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, D is 4, E is 5, F is 6, G is 7. Okay? So now you've got a letter. Now I want you to think of a country that begins with that letter. Okay? Country that begins with it. Keep that to yourselves. And now take the last letter of that country. Hey, take that last. If you've forgotten by now, as most of the Rotarians have, don't worry, but you've got the last letter of that country. Now, if there's anybody in the room that's not thinking of that letter, what we want you to do is that letter, think of an animal, a creature that begins with that letter. Okay? And is there anybody in the room that's not thinking of a kangaroo? Bloody hell. But they're all Rotarians, so that's good. Thank you for that.
I was thinking of a kinkajou.
A kinkajou. Was it all beginning with a K at least?
Yes.
Oh, we did well. We did well.
No.
Well, you got it wrong.
You moved it wrong.
Anyway, you failed. You failed. It's not the end. So Di was watching the Six Nations game against Scotland down in Cardiff in a packed stadium, and there was only one seat next to him. So from behind, who's that seat for next year? Oh, he said, I bought a ticket for my wife, but she passed away in an accident. Oh, so you're keeping that in memoriam for us? Oh, no. I offered the ticket to all my friends. Oh, right. So, but they couldn't come. Well, why couldn't they come? Well, they've gone to her funeral. No heckling, John. Now, there was one that we converted from Scottish. Edward's the farm, and his son signed up for a sightseeing trip in a small aircraft. And as always, Edwards is a bit like John Kilby, goes for a good deal. So So the pilot says, well, very well, Mr. Edwards. If you can go through the entire trip without uttering a sound, we'll give you your tickets for you and your son for nothing. So they take off in the plane goes scooting up into the sky, down under a Severn Bridge. There's all the acrobatic tricks that the pilot can think of, finishes with a loop-the-loop, and Edwards says nothing. So when they land, the pilot says to Edwards, do you know, I've been doing this for 20 years now, and never have I had anyone that could not scream or want to say something on the way around. You know, was there not any time in the journey that you felt that you needed to say something? Said Edwards, well, you know when Berwyn fell out? So there was a farmer in Wales, the Welsh table over there, the two young ladies are from Wales and I'm from Wales, so we've been sort of putting together a few stories for you. So the farmer was tending his sheep and he saw a man drinking from the stream. So he shouted over to him in Welsh, and I'm going to translate this for you. Don't drink the water, it's disgusting. There's sheep poop in it. The man kept drinking. So the farmer moved closer and shouted the same thing. Still no response. So the farmer walked right up to him and repeated the warning at the man. And he turned up to him and he said, oh, dreadfully sorry, old man, can't hear a thing. Could you speak in English? So the Welshman turns to him and says, oh, sorry, what I was saying was if you cup your hands together, you'll get more in. Of course, there was the Russian spy that was dropped into by parachute into the Welsh hills with instructions to contact Mr. Jones in the small village of Llanfair. And he was given a coded message, the tulips are blooming. So he arrived in the village, was directed to the cottage where they thought Jones lived, knocked on the door, Mr. Jones came to the door. Are you Mr. Jones? Yes, I'm Mr. Jones. Right. The tulips are blooming. Oh, Jones looked at him and goes, oh, what's this? Oh, Jones the spy you're looking for. Maybe one just for fun. Louisa, or Mrs. Jones as you know her better as, asked me if I was having an affair with a woman from Llanfair, Pwll Gwyngyll. Go get up and rob with Llantysilio, or go. I said, how can you say such a thing? So there was a Welshman and a Scotsman and an Englishman walking on a beach, and they met the genie. And the genie had, no, they didn't meet the genie, they found the lamp, and of course the genie came out. Same story though. So they get 3 wishes, 1 wish each. So the Scotsman says, well, I'm a sheep herder, and I want my country to be full of sheep farms. Whoosh! Whole of Scotland turned into sheep farms. The Englishman was amazed by this and says, I want a wall around England to keep those damn Scots and the Welsh out. It's a wall all the way around England. So the Welshman says, tell me more about this wall. So the genie says, well, it's 200 foot high, 100 feet thick, goes all the way around, and you can't get anything in or out. So Welshman says, well, my wish is to fill it with water. There was those 3 friends. They all married women from different parts of the world. First one married a Greek. And he told her, after they got married, that she needed to do the dishes and the cleaning. Anyway, it took a couple of days for this to start to come to fruition. But by the 3rd day, he came home, the house was tidy, clean, everything was put away and smashing. Second man, he married a Thai girl and gave her the same orders. And he saw no results on the first day. But again, by the 3rd day, he came home, It's a nice, clean, tidy house. Smashing. Third man, now, he married a Welsh girl. And he decided he'd ask her to clean the house, do the dishes, mow the lawn, and get dinner on the table for 6 o'clock every night. Well, for the first 2 days, he didn't see anything. But by the third day, the swelling had gone down, and he could see anything on his left eye. Right, that one. And then young Dylan came home from school, and he told his mother, I've been given a part in the school play. Wonderful, she says. What's the part? Oh, it's the part of a Welsh husband. Go back to that school and get a speaking part. Alexa was going to help me there as well. How are we doing for time? We'll come to an end, I think. So there was just a couple here. The Irish priest is going down to York and gets stopped for speeding in Newcastle. The officer smells alcohol in the car. Leans into the car, sees a wee wine bottle on the floor. Hey father, have you been drinking? Just water. Then why do I smell wine? Looks down at the wee bottle of wine and goes, oh, good Lord, he's done it again. So, and there's a couple of my old school friends, they joined monasteries, and one of them had a good story to say, that it was one of these monasteries where you don't get to talk very often. So you get to have 2 words every 7 years. So after 7 years, the elders call him out and they say, well, what are your 2 words? And he just says, cold floors. Back he goes. Another 7 years pass and they bring him out for his second 2 words. Clears his throat. Bad food. They nod, send him back away, and 7 more years pass. They bring him in for his next 2 words. He goes, I quit. One of the elders looks at him, well, that's not surprising, you've done nothing but complain since you've been here. There we go. How's that for everybody?
Well done, Rod, that was great, thank you very much indeed. As I quote again from my production notes, will almost certainly be a short stand-up comedy act, as indeed it was. Well done, Rod. Rod mentioned something from the Bible there about, at the beginning, and of course the reason why women like silent men is because they think they're listening. So I made reference to my production notes earlier on, and that would suggest that there is a production going on, and with every production there is a producer. And in our case, this evening's producer, once again, is Peter Holmes, a man of whom many people said, never heard of him. I think that phrase in itself encapsulates Peter's abilities as a theatrical impresario, our very own Lou Grade in the corner. The next item this evening is a duet by 2 of our interactors, Molly and Christian. Did you see what I did there? A duet by 2 of our interactors. You see they're coming in there. Christian and Molly are going to be playing the keyboard and the saxophone. Now,
No.
but you know, I thought I spoke to you about that.
No, it's a saxophone duet with Molly and Eleanor.
With reference to my production notes, it's no, that's what it says in here. It says Christian and Molly are doing a duet on the saxophone and the keyboard. Anyway, that's what. So it's a saxophone duet. That's fine because there weren't many piano jokes that I could tell that were fit for an august audience like this. They were simply too filthy. But I've got plenty of saxophone jokes. The difference between a saxophone and a chainsaw. The grip. Sorry, who are the two folk that are doing this again? It's Molly and Eleanor. Right, okay. Molly went for a run this morning before she came along here. She wasn't planning on going for a run, but when the police turn up unannounced, what can you do? While she was out for a run, Eleanor was getting the mail. And unfortunately, very sadly, this morning in the mail, Eleanor got a letter of rejection from her first choice university. The Origami University. She doesn't know what to make of it. Your time will come. I am somewhat thrown because my production notes have thrown all that out. Anyway, Eleanor and Molly and their saxophone duet. Well done, girls, that was great. What do you throw a drowning saxophonist? The case. After last year's concert, I thought that a year has passed, and I thought that you might be interested to know, or to remind yourselves, what the reviews said of what we had done last year. What the papers said. And I was looking at this just this morning to remind myself. The Herald said it was a tour de force. Le Figaro in Paris said it was a tour de France. The Scottish Farmer said they'd no beef with it. The Scottish Field said it was an evening from which the tourist industry may never recover. And the Super Soaraway Sun said it may have its knockers. No, that was all they said. Our next entertainer this evening is Dunblane's sex symbol, and it's Bob Watson. Now, only this morning, Joyce asked Bob if he could make her breakfast in bed. No, said Bob, I'll need to go to the kitchen for that. We're lucky that Bob's with us this evening because he's just booked a last-minute holiday. He was down in the high street earlier in the week and he was looking in John Hill's window. There's a big sign in the window and it says, turkey, £29. Well, that's much cheaper than Thomas Cook. Bob's going to be doing a recitation.
I'm coming.
Let's go wild for Bob Watson.
Thank you so much. I have just a short poem for you today. It's actually a song, but with respect to those of you who have heard me sing before, I've decided to make it into a poem tonight. Also, considering the international background of many of you here, if you need translation, come and see me after. At 8 o'clock on Monday, my mother takes my clays to a pawn shop down at Brighton to see what she can raise. She's hoping for a fiver. She hasn't got a chance. See, I spilt beer all down my suit. I tore my drain pipe pants. My Beatle suit, my Chelsea boots, she'll just get £2.10. But when I get paid on Friday night, I'll get them back again. One day when I was on the dole, she took my working gear. She shoved it out of the counter, and the pawn man said, "No fear, your overalls is full of holes. You surely must be kidding away and take them down to the back court hen and chuck them in the midden. My Beatle suit, my Chelsea boots, she'll just get £2.10, but when I get paid on a Friday night, she'll get them back again." We've pawned my father's watch and chain, the carpets and the rugs. The clock's new off the mantelpiece, so's the Valley Dogs. My mammy had a budgie. Its cage is in the pond. But the budget's in the kludgy, because he said he wasn't going. I've got a house in Castle Milk. But it isn't fair. You can't pawn your boots and suits. There's no pawn shop there. So I'm going back to Brighton, back to the smoking dirt, where Uncle gives you 4 and 6 for your father's working shirt. Yes, Uncle will give you 4 and 6 for your father's working shirt. I thank you.
That was great, Bob. Thanks very much, and have a nice holiday. We're changing our order here for various reasons. So for our next act, we're back in the arms of our own members, in this case, Alan, Audrey and Peter. Now, referring once again to my production notes, with which I'm rapidly losing any confidence, my production notes here say that for this section of the evening's entertainment, there will be wit, sardonic humour, satire and repartee. And all I have to say is, well, I'll be the judge of that. So, ladies and gentlemen, drawing from literature and the famous book by Alexander Dumas, I give you The Three Bucketeers.
There's a hole in my Brexit. Dear Boris, there's a hole in my Brexit. Dear Boris, a hole.
Then mend it, Teresa. Mend it, Teresa. Mend it.
But who can advise me, dear Boris? Dear Boris, who can advise me, dear Boris? A name.
You should ask Arlene Foster, dear Boris. Dear Boris. You should ask Arlene Foster, dear Boris. Ask Arlene.
It would cost me $1 billion, dear Boris. Dear Boris, it would cost me $1 billion, dear Boris. $1 billion?
Well, ask Jacob Rees-Mogg, dear. Teresa, ask Jacob Rees-Mogg, Teresa. Ask him.
He'll say, get rid of checkers, dear Boris, dear Boris. He'll say, get rid of checkers. I can't do that.
What about Nicola? Teresa. What about Nicola? Teresa. What about Nicola?
I heard that, dear Boris, dear Boris. Oh, Boris. I heard that, dear Boris. Dear Boris, I heard that. I can give you an answer, Teresa. Independence for Scotland, for Scotland. Independent Scotland is all that we ask.
Oh, another referendum, dear Nicola, dear Boris. Another referendum. Oh, I'm fed up with that.
Then go for it, Teresa. Go for it. Then go for it, Teresa. Go for it.
Oh, well, but there's a hole in my Brexit, dear Boris, dear Boris.
Oh, you've blown it.
Oh.
Well, that was very well done, Peter, Paul and Mary. Huey, Dewey and Louie. Snap, Crackle and Pop. Alvin and the Chipmunks. The Three Stooges. The Three Wise Men. The Three Bears. The Three Tenors. Charlie's Angels. The Three Witches. The Bee Gees. The Andrews Sisters. The Beverly Sisters. Or Alan. Peter. And Audrey, sorry, I couldn't see. You were at the back. You took your mask off. I was concerned. I was concerned at one point where you're going to find an Arlene Foster mask, but it moved on to it. That was very well done. Thank you very much for that. We are now, I imagine, going to do something else. Well, we were going to do the first sketch by the Interactors. I imagine that's what we're going to. Yes, I'm getting a nod from the producer. And I haven't even needed to sleep with him to get to this point. We're going to have the first sketch by the Interactors. This plays on developing the expectations of the audience. So let's hope that you have expectations. Let's hope that you're planning on playing them and that you don't need to bring them on as a substitute at half-time. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring you the Interactors.